Sonic isn't the kind of character you'd associate with an arcade, unless you count those air hockey tape little songs slapped onto it. Sega's pretty desperate for money after Sonic Boom Rise of Midlife Crisis, am I right? While Mario's entire career started with an arcade cabinet in 1981, Sonic came around when home consoles were getting huge in the 1990s and never really needed to rely on arcades, thus him not having any real games for the arcades. Or so you thought. Well, I mean, hey, if you read the title, you saw that one coming from a mile away. Back in the 1990s, where arcades would start declining in popularity a few years later, Sonic actually had a handful of arcade games. Although most of them were Japan exclusive, thanks to the internet, we were actually able to bring light to some of them. Now, before I get into this, two things I have to bring up. I'm focusing on games that are made for arcades, however, they can have ports to other consoles, as long as they were originally arcade games. Also, a lot of these games are really rare, so finding ROMs for the more obscure titles is pretty much impossible. However, I will bring them up in this video, but you know, I couldn't play them. Anyways, let's get right into this. Starting off, we have the game that really opened my eyes about Sonic. The man is more than just a blue hedgehog that runs fast. His life behind the scenes has more to it than you think. At daytime, he fights crime, and at nighttime, he also fights crime. It's Sonic. Sonic is a freaking police officer. This is Wacko Wacko Sonic Patrol Car from 1991. Are you ready to fight some crime? This game is very basic and, well, boring. It only lasts for about a minute. I can't really blame it though, since it's actually a kiddie ride. I mean, look at how fast Sonic is going. Ah, shoot, gotta go fast! This ROM is fairly new, only being ported of September of last year. I mean, the game is nothing special, except this is the original Sonic Sega All-Stars Racing. Don't deny it, you know it's true. Sonic's next big game to hit arcades was scheduled for 1992, but was cancelled. A game under the title of Sega Sonic Bros. Was a puzzle game made by, and sorry if I butcher this, Fukio Mitsuji, the creator of Puzzle Bobble or Bust and Move, aka the game with this green thing. Although not much is known about it, the reason it was cancelled was it did poorly in a test location, thus causing the game to be cancelled. The other reason was tons of kids were claiming that Sega was stealing their fan characters and threatened to sue them via Twitter, so they shut down the puzzle game for these legal reasons. Although 1992 didn't work out for the Blue Blur, in 1993 we were introduced to Sega Cosmo Fighters Galaxy Patrol, and if that wasn't a mouthful, well, I don't know what else is. Now, there's no official ROM for this game from my knowledge at least. Luckily, there is footage out there of this game, but in the classic YouTube format of, look, it's the game that I filmed with my video camera, and not in game. By the looks of it, the game is a classic space shooter. Apparently the machine also moves back and forth while you chase down Eggman, who must have hated humanity so much that he said, bump this, I'm out, and went to space for another vacation. Piss off, Sonic, let him be. Besides, what could Eggman do in space? On a personal note, I actually really like the sprites in this game. At the end of the day though, this is a pretty basic game, but still not as basic as a Wacko Wacko Sonic Patrol Car, but hey, close enough. At this point, I'm leaving out a lot of these arcade games, since most of them are just prize machines of some sort, or even a Sonic slot machine. This one was too interesting, though, to not include. I present to you Sega Sonic Popcorn Shop. I found this while I was searching the wiki for all these old Sonic arcade games, and then this magic came up. Even though it's just a popcorn machine, it's so cool, come on. Like, why can't we have one of these nowadays? It's just not the same. And just like all the other games I've covered so far, this is also very simple. 1993 had a lot of Sonic games. This one was by far the most well-known one out of the Sega Sonic bunch, that one being Sega Sonic the Hedgehog. In my opinion, this is probably the best Sonic arcade game. Also, Sega avoided those kids from suing them by changing the recolors into actual characters. And you thought I was joking. Actually, I was joking before. Sega Sonic is what I would imagine a Sonic arcade game to be like. Platformer, but tricky. On a personal note, I was actually using my GameCube controller for this game, which made it very difficult to control the characters, since as you can see here, the game is supposed to be played on a gyro ball, but instead I was using a joystick. This probably took a lot away from my experience, since this was the cause of many of my deaths. Speaking about deaths, I was playing this game at an arcade when I was a kid, probably would have put my whole college fund in, because Sonic. Even though the game is pretty basic, it does a good job for switching things up. In general, it feels like one of the best Sonic arcade games since it's different from most other Sonic games. Plus, I'm not gonna lie, Ray's always been one of my favorite characters. It's a weird choice, I know. Silver is one of my favorites as well. I just hit me now, it's no use. Now, the ending, I was not able to reach, because look at this. I mean, I totally made it. Actually, we've done it. It's just on my Internet Explorer. Oops, wrong one. Hahaha. Look. See, that's me beating the game. Not this guy. He just uploaded it for me. Good job, Evan. I have skill. In the end, if I could control the game better, this would be the ultimate game for me. But hey, at least I gotta use some sort of analog. However, there's also another version which is actually playable. This version being called Sega Snke the Hedgehog Revision A. However, it's pretty much a toned down version of the original Sega Snke the Hedgehog and only has one playable level, though it's always cool to see earlier builds of games. If you ever played or watched someone play the game Sonic Jam, this clip might look familiar. Well, fun fact, this is actually footage for an arcade machine called Sonic Ride, which was pretty much a minute-long ride. Not much is known about this except it was made around 1994 by Sega Amusement Machine Research and Development Department 3, or Sega AM3 for short, because like anyone is going to say that in a non-bragging matter. Finally on our list, we have the most well-known game that was ported to the GameCube and recently ported to the PlayStation Store and Xbox Live, this game being Snke the Fighters. Made in 1996, this game would go down to change the fighting game genre forever. By mistake, Capcom made a combo system that, shoot, that's Street Fighter. As I was saying, Namco knew what they were doing since this game was a real challenge and was the first real 3D fighting game on consoles. Oh, forget, dang it! Sega knew what they were doing with Virtua Fight. Oh my goodness! Snke the Fighters was Sega's attempt at a fighting game, but sadly, didn't really end out too well. As in, button mashing will win you everything. I know most people say that about fighting games, but honestly, this game takes the cake. I feel bad for the animators, since most of the cool animations they worked on will probably never be seen by the Sonic community, since all we know how to do is go fast. I remember getting Sonic Gems Collection just to play Sonic R of all things. I can't even make these things up. However, I remember having my mates over to play this game when I was younger, and how stupidly fun it was. I also grew up on the Sonic Archie comics, so it was nice to see Bean, Bark, and Fang in this. Yeah, connecting the dots on why I like Ray so much. Honestly, this game definitely has potential. I see the fighting game genre in here, however, it doesn't feel polished, which is sad, since a proper Sonic fighting game would be nice. I like the cartoony nature of this game, and how it doesn't try to take itself too seriously. This type of Sonic game has only been a one-time thing, which, even though I do sound pretty negative about it, I do enjoy it, and its wide cast of Archie characters from the Archie comics. However, if they were to make another one nowadays, the roster would be completely different. But now Sega's moved on and made Sonic Battle, which was okay, and hey, Sonic's in Smash Bros now, so if you want to get your dose of fighting games with Sonic in it, it's probably the closest you're gonna get to it, other than some Sonic Flash games or Mugen. To be honest, I was kind of hoping to come out of this video with, you know, some sort of hidden Sonic gem that the community hasn't talked about yet, you know, be the hero, but, I mean, the arcade games have been out for years and years, so, I mean, no wonder the fans don't really talk about the games. There's nothing special in most of these that haven't already been ported, but hey, it's still an interesting topic to actually cover, because I didn't know a lot of these things going in, and I haven't seen a video where everything's been condensed into one video about Sonic arcade games, and therefore I felt like I need to actually cover this. Saying I'm not really a Sonic fan anymore is kind of, I'd say, a lie, because, you know, I made 2 videos, that's for one thing. I still like the Blue Blur, and even after all the cringe and trash that's been thrown our way, I can't help but still have a special spot in my heart for him. So in the end, I feel like I'm glad I made this video, because, you know, I feel like at least I brought something new to the table for once. Shout out to the website Sonic Retro that had all the information, all the images, and everything you saw pretty much. Cause holy cow, not sponsored by the way, just thought I'd plug, you know, give credit to where it's due, cause without that website, this video wouldn't have existed. I guess to close this video, I gotta just say thanks for popping by and putting up with my terrible jokes. Hope you learned something. If you didn't, I mean, that's what the jokes were there for. So I guess I'll see you guys later. Bye. up here in the Hollywood Hills. We know like more than this Lamborghini. Knowledge. So I have these 37 Bob the Builders. My Lamborghini. Nice pony.
Are you regretting your life decisions?
I just regret being birthed.